Welcome back to Eternal Serenity Tarot. This is going to be your reading for the month of August. Okay, Cancer. Your reading is a funny one because I tried to film your reading the day before today, right now as I'm filming this. Um, and I could not get in. It felt like I needed a secret code that I didn't have. So I feel like your energy this month, it's giving very inaccessible. Um, Even now, trying to pull, it feels like in those movies where they have a bookshelf and you got to know which book to pull and which combination to do it in order to unlock like a secret passageway. And the secret passageway in this instance just feels like access to your life, your business. What are you doing? So I don't know if y'all have been hiding out and now you're getting ready to do some kind of like grand reveal by simply just getting back outside. Um, and I'm just getting people having questions like, whoa, when did Cancer start looking like that? And whoa, when did Cancer start working that job? And whoa, when did Cancer start driving that car? You know, people are in your business this month. That's what it feels like. But I feel like they're feeling even more entitled to being in your business because you've been so tight lipped. It was a heavy do not disturb energy. Now, the reason why I couldn't even finish that reading was because it was so hard to try and get through. Like there was just a disconnect. It felt silent, but also just I don't know, like I wasn't gang. I wasn't allowed in. It feels a lot better today. We're getting somewhere, but that first one it was rough. So a couple things that I remember from that reading though that will possibly come up in this one. Some of you guys, you could be trying to decide whether you should take a job right now. This job it could require you to locate. I don't know if this is a job or if this is like a like school. This is some kind of educational opportunity. Um, but there is something that you're eyeing right now, but you're unsure because relocation means uncertainty. Maybe you're relocating someplace where you don't really know people, you don't really know the area, you've never been there before, you don't know if you're going to thrive, you don't know if you're going to succeed. But I saw a couple cards about victory. So if that's something that you're leaning towards, I would definitely say go toward it if that's what your gut is telling you. And this is an opportunity that you know is fruitful. So if this is a job that pays well, it's relocating you to someplace nice, you know, maybe there's relocation assistance, they're going to help get you set up, go for it. Like I said, if it isn't school and this is like studying abroad or something, go for it. Because I was also getting for you guys that, and this is in true Cancer fashion, of course, um, I was getting that it's time for you guys to step away from being the caretakers to everyone. And I think you guys are already doing that based on this like closed off energy that I was getting. Um, you could have recently just distanced yourself from a lot of people and things when you realized that you were parenting adults and these are not your children. For some of you guys, these could be your children. This could be needing to step away from being overly involved. And it felt like it was coming from a good place, but you just realized that you, it's like being a caregiver became your entire identity. So for some of you, if you are parents, like being a parent became your whole identity and you just kind of lost who you were before you had kids. For those of you who don't have kids, this is still about maybe your self-worth being tied to how much you can give to people. And I think you guys are separating yourself from that. I think it has to do a lot with people's lack of appreciation, is what it was giving. Like there was a lot of ungratefulness, and there was also like emptiness in your life. So like you constantly making sure that you're filling your seat at other people's table to be kind of like the side character in their lives, but then it's time to be main character in your life, and nobody wants to play supporting to you. which is crazy, which is really crazy. Um, and I think you guys realized that. So you stepped away and started taking care of yourself, working on yourself, taking care of business in your own life, um, watering yourself is what it was. It was giving. um, I'm trying to remember what else came through in that reading because it was some good stuff, but it was hard, and then it was so short. I was like, this Cancer's reading only going to be 8 minutes long? Like, that doesn't sound right. And it was choppy. It was a lot, but things feel better today. So I feel like sometimes when stuff like that happens, that's actually a huge part of the reading, and you kind of got to take a step back away from the reading just to analyze that part. The fact that I could not, like I was trying so hard. I was like, oh my God, do I have to skip Cancer? Like, what am I supposed to do? Okay, okay, Cancer. If anything else that came out in that reading comes back to mind, I will definitely let you guys know. So let's get into it for today, you guys. For my Cancer babies, all right, we had Order in the Forest, which this card actually did come out in that other reading, but it came out in reverse. Cleansing, releasing resentments, and making amends. So in reverse, this was about holding on too tightly to relationships or being in environments that you I wasn't getting an outgrowing energy for you guys. It was more so being in places where people just expect you to step up in this way. They expect you to play a very, very pivotal role in their lives. But again, you're looking to your left, you're looking to your right, and shit is kind of empty. So it came out upright this time. Which is good because I understand, especially as a Cancer moon, you guys. Let me just throw that out there. I completely understand falling into that role, and I also really understand holding on to people a little bit tightly. You know, like attachment trauma is very real. And then sometimes you just feel bad. You know, you're very empathetic, and so it's easy to look at these people as children because that's the thing, like some people, they act so helpless. It's like, how else could you look at them but helpless? You know, they act like children that just cannot, they just don't have the proper tools, you know. And when you feel like you have the proper tools and you're like, I know what to do, it feels selfish to just sit back and watch people struggle or sit back and watch people have a hard go at it. But Cancer, I think you were realizing that people were doing that to you. Like they were more than fine. And this is like people not even being there for the struggle. Like it's not even just like, oh, they're sitting there watching you struggle. Like they're just gone. They're gone. So I was, oh, when I was sitting down just now to do this reading, I was getting that for some of you guys, you either changed your number or you just went on a blocking spree, because I felt like there were people who, or maybe you're private, your accounts could be private too, but there were people who like, they were just so excited to be like, oh my God, wait, what's Cancer up to? Let me go look. And then boom, they're blocked. They are blocked. I'm just getting somebody's ego being crushed. Or this is like you changed your number. Somebody was excited to call or text you or something. And it's nope, cannot access. Like you guys are kind of untouchable right now. Um, yeah, some of those people, maybe you went on like a, maybe not even like blocking people, but just realizing that like people like to watch face. You know, they like to monitor you. They like to know what you're doing and be in your business just for the sake of being in your business. But they're not actually supporting you. They're not liking anything. They're not sharing anything. They're not commenting on anything, nothing. They just like, eh. And you can tell the difference between other people who are maybe just more silently following you and then other people. So um, it also felt like people that followed you finding out that they don't follow you no more. You know, like, I don't know, just the energy felt very like savage, for lack of a better word. Like you guys just don't care anymore, but it feels fed up more than anything. So, okay, let's really really get into it now. Your other card. And okay, let me say this too. I don't even normally have the cards flipped over. I usually just have them upright, ready and waiting for y'all. But today for Cancer's reading, I just felt compelled to flip the cards over and then, so you guys are moving in silence. People don't know what you're doing before you do it, is what that's telling me. Okay. So every word has power. And it was in reverse. So education, power of persuasion, communication, and internal dialogue. So it coming out in reverse, I told you that reading yesterday felt very disconnected. I don't know if you guys have been feeling disconnected from yourselves, maybe having to step into this colder energy and severing ties with a lot of people. You could have done it without even really thinking about it at the time. Like, it was kind of impulsive because you were just so fed up. You were like, whatever, I'm done. And it doesn't feel like you're not done, but it just feels like maybe some of that, like, loneliness started to set in a little bit, and there was some rethinking of, like, damn, should I have done that, or was I being too cold? Am I being unforgiving? Should I have said that? But every word has power, Cancer, and this feels like it's really important that you make sure that you speak up for yourself if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or even just speaking up for yourself to say, like, hey, I can't take that on right now. Hey, I can't do that for you. Hey, no, I'm sorry, I can't be there in this way for you right now. You could be trying to drown out the feelings of loneliness right now by disconnecting from yourself, like using something as a form of escapism. So if you're spending a lot more time alone, you could be knee deep in several different TV shows right now. You could be listening to every podcast, reading every book. When people like take stuff and they just shove it in a closet, and they shove everything in the closet, but in such a chaotic way that the second you open the door, like, one thing falls and you're like, oh, let me pick that up. And as you go to pick that up, everything just falls on top of you. That's what this feels like. So you could have been really silent on something or things in general for a while. Like, maybe you noticed the lack of support around you for a minute, or you started having these feelings for a while and you weren't really letting yourself feel them, and then boom, like the floodgates opened, the straw broke the camel's back, and that was it. You might have been letting that verbal chopper sing on a few different people. Um, yeah. And now it's like a backlog. Like, you mad about this one thing, but you're like, and you know what? And another thing, and you just naming stuff, and people are like, whoa. I don't feel like you were wrong though. I don't know. And if this hasn't happened yet, this could be what's coming to you this month. And this is what's going to be the cleanse. Like, you're gonna feel so much lighter. Now, if this hasn't happened for you yet, this might be a warning to just I was gonna say collect yourself, but sometimes you do have to be in that fed up energy and just let your chopper sing and keep it moving. Like, people may not like it and they may feel like, oh man, why didn't you say anything before? But like, people be knowing what they're doing, and it's really manipulative to be focused on the fact that someone hasn't felt comfortable expressing themselves, as opposed to checking yourself and asking yourself why this person has been able to rack up like so many instances where you have dropped the ball and haven't been doing what you were supposed to do, and also why they don't feel comfortable coming to you when they feel like there's an issue. Why they feel like they have to swallow all of this down, and how you might have contributed to that. So, Cancer, don't let people play with y'all this month. That's what I will say. Okay. Let's get into some tarot, y'all. The moon. Okay. You might be identifying the source of these issues. Ooh, I was also getting that y'all needed to get out and like have fun, because you had it's like, even if you haven't had a life before, like, it's kind of giving Cinderella. Like, it's giving Cinderella. Like, it's time. You don't even need Prince Charming. It's time to go out there and have fun. Some of you guys, might have been parentified children. So taking on too many responsibilities from a young age, because I'm hearing like that is time. You know that Khaled song? It's like Young, Dumb, and I think it's Broke. I think it's Young, Dumb, and Broke. But for you guys, I'm just getting like Young, Dumb, and Fun. Like, young. Listen, turn young and turn. That's what y'all are supposed to be right now, and you're not. There's Three of Cups in reverse. Um, I will say, if you guys were going out a lot more before with a particular group of people or like a person, but they fall into that category of people that have just, really had you fucked up, then you're absolutely right. By, choosing to have no social life as opposed to hanging out with those people because it's just not worth it. But like, I don't know, Cancer, go out by yourself, right? Go have fun. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. I'm curious as to what this moon card is. Because the moon can be about illusion sometimes. So you could feel like in order for you to have more experiences or in order for you to have fun or take yourself out that you need more money, or you could feel like now is not a time for you to be worried about fun because you could be more focused on just trying to make sure that you're financially secure. Maybe some of you guys are trying to move out. And so you're not having fun because you're like, listen, I don't have it right now because I need to put money towards a security deposit and first and last month's rent and utilities and buying furniture and just expenses. So I think you guys are willing to sacrifice now so that this process can happen a lot quicker and smoother. But it's feeling like it's at the expense of your mental health. It's okay to save, but it's also okay to like I'm not encouraging you guys to be irresponsible, but it is okay to, if you can't take a little bit of money to have fun, just try and find like a cheaper way to have fun, a cheaper way to treat yourself, or something like really cheap to do, or people that you can do stuff that really doesn't cost money with, cost money and still have a lot of fun with those people. Because we have this Two of Pentacles here, which makes sense because I feel like you guys are busy. Hearing like worker bee right now. You could also be saving because you don't feel secure. Even if you are doing okay or you do have a little bit of disposable income, there's still some level of, I think, like, I want to say disillusionment when it comes to that. Because this moon card can be when we have to ask ourselves if what we're seeing is, if we're actually seeing what we're seeing, or how do I want to say this? If you're seeing what you think you're seeing, or, this is more about interpretation. So if you're interpreting something properly, if your perspective of something is accurate, or if it's a little bit skewed because fear is getting involved. So I don't know if there's something that you guys want to get started on and you're telling yourself that you don't have enough to start something from the ground. But I'm just seeing that, like, this Page of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles is creative. Because he knows how to make shit shake with just a little bit. He knows, like, okay, sometimes you have to be creative when you don't have all that much, and you got to figure out how to get stuff done so that we can keep progressing forward and we don't have to feel like we're stuck and we're being held back by circumstances that are out of our control. So you could feel like something is more out of your control right now than it is, but this feels like spirit directing you to change how you're looking at something. So maybe you can start something, but it's not going to be started exactly the way you want it to. You can have like really high standards. Some of you guys have Taurus placements. So you could have really high standards and feel like, well, I need the money so that this can look as professional and as good as possible. The spirit is like, listen, everybody has to start from somewhere. So if you got to start right now, it's not that it's going to look janky, but it'll just look like you're on a budget. It'll just be minimal, but at least we'll get somewhere and then we can start slowly building. And then we can start saving. Oh, yeah. So this could be some sort of like toxic home environment that you feel bound to. It could even be that the environment is so chaotic and stressful that you find yourself like there are just there are certain habits that you have to cope in this environment that may not be the healthiest for you, and some of it could even have to do with spending your money. Cancer, it feels like there is something about this environment that plays on your anxiety in some way. With this moon, like the moon, the four of wands in the reverse, and the devil, like there's something about this environment that holds you back, and it creates fear. Or this fear, if this is a modern day, I keep saying that, this is present day. This is like a childhood upbringing that creates fear in you, because this is a fear of, I feel like, a fear of recreating this in your life. Let's get another card on this Four of Wands. Two of Swords. Okay. The Two of Swords can be kind of obstinate because it's closing yourself off from being able to receive information. Like her eyes are covered, her ears are covered, and she's holding her arms up in a do not pass go kind of a manner. We're still getting that like arm's length energy. So are you guys keeping somebody in particular at arm's length? Is somebody keeping you guys at arm's length? I don't know. It's like there's information that you can't receive properly, and it's because your anxiety and your fear get in the way. So either you've fully closed yourself off from being able to hear anything that has to be said, or this is like you engage you engage with someone. I don't know, my throat chakra is jacked up this reading. You engage with someone. Okay, you guys are holding back. I feel like that's what's happening. You're holding back from something. But this feels like this is affecting you in multiple areas. Like there are things that you're holding back from. This Two of Swords feels like this is a blockage in being able to see yourself accurately. Like there's something that you're closed off from and you don't even know. It's like, I don't know how to explain this. You guys are 5 seconds away from having your hands and your ears going la 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 la, I cannot hear you. Like But I feel like this could just be a month where you feel like you get triggered very easily, and so you shut down very easily. But I feel like these triggers are happening so that you can address them, because there's something here with this Four of Wands, whether this is someone that you guys live with and it wasn't family, or this is your upbringing. There's a lot of dysfunction attached to this. When that devil energy comes up, it keeps us stuck because the devil tells us that we can't progress further, or we just shouldn't even try because this is all you're ever going to get. So you shouldn't even hope for better because this is all you will ever have access to. But that's not true. But this devil does a really good job of creating illusions by, playing on this fear, because this moon card can be when we're looking at something but we're not really sure what it is that we're looking at. So rather than investigating further, we get so afraid that we're like, oh, shut the door. Shut the door, turn the lights off, close the blinds, and tell them that we're not home. The whole time this is somebody coming to be like, and you won $1 million. But you would never know because you were so afraid that it was going to be something that was going to come and take everything from you. So I can't ignore this Six of Pentacles and this High Priestess that have come out. I'm going to lay them right here, and then I'm going to get one more card on this Three of Cups. Okay, this feels like your generosity has been taken advantage of, which we've already touched on a little bit. Temperance. Okay, so whatever this opportunity is that's trying to come towards you, it's restorative. I don't know if this is something where there's a lot of competition, or oh, this could be that too. Cancer, you could be up for something or have something that you want to go after, and you're not going after it because you're afraid and you don't want to be told no. This feels like rejection sensitivity. And that devil energy is like, oh yeah, you're going to be rejected. And again, it could stem from your childhood and feeling rejected in your own home. Cancer, I don't know if I'm gonna have to do an inner child reading for you guys like I did with Gemini, but we just might have to. We'll see how this reading progresses, and I'll let you guys know at the end. Maybe you guys have had people turn on you that you've been really generous to. You could feel like people hold you to really unfair standards. So other people are able to get away with a lot. Well, there's stuff that other people get away with, and I think this points back to this like parentification and this stemming from your childhood, where you're just on a much shorter leash than other people are. You could feel like you're not given the benefit of the doubt enough, or there isn't grace, and you step what people believe to be like a toe out of line, and then next thing you know, you're being outcast and isolated. And all you're thinking about is like, wow, I've given these people so much of myself, and they were really that quick to just pull away from me all of a sudden. This overgiving nature could also stem from your childhood. I mean, we talked about your role of falling into that caregiver. And this being tied to you feeling like that's all you should be, or like that's all you're worth, or like that's how you were able to get what you thought was love when you were a child, was by showing up in this way and doing. And then everybody's just like, oh, Cancer, you're so helpful. Oh, Cancer, what would I do without you? Something about that, like, oh, Cancer, what would I do without you? Like, that felt like a slap in the face just now. Because you could feel like you're having to learn what it's like to go without people and support. Yeah, see, we had this Ace of Pentacles, and then after this was the Four of Cups. I didn't even notice that at first. So the Four of Cups is, oh, yep. Oh my God. Okay. This reading is loud and clear, Cancer. Okay. So this Four of Cups is rejection. But he's throwing this cup off because he's like, I sat here and drank what was in these three cups and it wasn't hitting on shit. So now I'm not even going to drink this one. We're just going to discard it. We're just going to throw it away. Like, I'm not even interested. So this is like, I'm getting somebody like swiping on dating apps, just left, 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 left. Or like people are DMing you and just like delete, 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 delete. Which I understand because there is a lack of quality in the dating pool. And this could also be jobs. Like, what is this Ace of Pentacles actually? Oh. Oh. Five of Cups. Okay. This could have to do with the father. I don't think let's see. Who is this opportunity, or what is this opportunity attached to with this Ace of Pentacles? I don't know if this is the opportunity for you to step up and be a boss in your own right. Okay, we got a lot just now, but I'm gonna take them all. Oh, okay. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Okay, Cancer. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. I feel like there is an energy of suffering attached to you as it stands right now. Like this Nine of Cups in reverse and this Nine of Swords. Just feels like you really are, like your soul is crying out for a lot more than what it has access to right now. You could be in an environment that's affecting your health with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse. But this could also be debt, or like a fear of debt, a fear of loss. This could be, if this is related to a family, this could be a family where there's a lot of like disagreements and disputes over money, or your relationship to money is a little bit funky due due to your childhood. And we have the Three of Wands. Cancer, this is interesting. Because this feels like the kind of stuff that you don't want to look at and you don't talk about. So I don't know if this is something that's related to a father with this Emperor and the Five of Cups. See, this five, we have the Five and the Four of Cups. So this is like, right, you're standing here and you're lamenting and you're grieving and you're feeling that deep sense of loss and agonizing over it a little bit with these three cups that are tipped over, right? And then there's the two that are still standing. But he's not really focused on the two that are still standing because he's still very upset about what hasn't been able to come through for him. So this could be attached to a parent that you feel like hasn't come through for you or wasn't able to come through for you. This parent could have been maybe they worked a lot, or they had something that they managed. Maybe they had a business that they managed, or something that they were in charge of and looked at to lead, or this was just leading in a home environment. But this feels like somebody that could have been giving their time and energy away and you weren't getting it. This Ace of Swords in reverse was under the Four of Cups. So that's not having all the information, or like you don't have the truth about something. But I feel like there's something that you don't want to see the truth in. Like you're not receptive to that truth. And there's a lack of acceptance somewhere. All right, so we had frozen for a time, non-action, slow down, not yet, and it came out in reverse. I feel like that could be stagnancy. Like we were only supposed to be frozen for a time, but now we just have not been moving. Connection through the cosmos. Community, everything is connected in the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity being here is interesting with the Six of Pentacles. I feel like your idea of community and what it's supposed to look like is also a little bit skewed. And I think that's because you're used to being the village. Like even if you're in the village, it's like you're the one that's the glue that's holding the village together. And you don't know what it's like to have the village rally behind you, but it's like something about the way you show up for people, Cancer, feels like your love and your care is with the strength of a village. Yeah, see, we have this Nine of Swords and this Three of Wands again. The Three of Wands, that could be an actual physical move that you're worried about. Because the way he's standing on this Three of Wands, he's looking out into the distance, but he's just gotten there. So there's a lot of potential for how things can go. I just heard there's a lot of potential for things to go wrong. And I feel like the fact that that's what came through instead of just leaving it at there's a lot of potential speaks to this Nine of Swords where you're worrying more so about what could go wrong than just being like, you know what, let's not worry about that, because if something goes wrong, we just deal with that in that moment. I'm wondering if this has to do with a lack of support from your childhood. And so it's like in times like these where you're stressed about something or you're unsure, we're resorting back to being that child that's overwhelmed again and lacking support and just wishing that somebody would come and hold you and be like, hey, Cancer, it's going to be okay. Reassurance. I feel like you guys were lacking reassurance. And you're finding it hard to reassure yourself because I just feel like there's like this fog and it's really dense and you can't see out of it. Like it's so dense that if you stick your hand through, your hand disappears. Like there's a lack of visibility with this moon card. You can't see a few feet in front of you. And some of you guys are afraid to even look because you're afraid that something's going to pop out at you or like something's going to happen that you're ill prepared for. So this feels like catastrophizing, and your brain is just thinking of all the different things that could happen that you feel like you're not equipped to deal with. And because you haven't had that support, you don't get to have the the peace of mind of being like, oh, you know what, it's okay, because at least if this goes poorly, like I have these people. If you've cut yourself off from people, and this seems like rightfully so, um, I feel like that energy of like, wow, I'm alone now is starting to get kind of loud. We have listening to the ancestors on the bottom of the deck, and it's in reverse. Inherited patterns, traditions, integrated wisdom versus knowledge. It coming out in reverse is, I feel like this is a time for you to tap into that very intuitive nature and go connect with your spiritual team, and let them pray over you. Let them be the force in your life that comes and rubs your back and soothes you and tells you that everything's going to be okay. Because I really guarantee, Cancer, that if you sit down for a minute, um, turn the TV off, right? Maybe even turn the lights off and just like lay down for a minute and just let this energy cover you with its hands. I feel like your ancestors are trying to tell you, like, we got you. You're okay. You did lack that support, but you never really fell, and we're not about to start letting you now. So, Cancer, I feel like you're just needing to be really reassured right now to know that you're going to be okay. You are presently okay. You're going to be okay. You will continue to be okay. You will always be okay because you got a team of people behind you, Cancer. Wow. Under this was the sovereignty of magic. Synchronicities, miracles, spiritual forces. What did I say about the forces that are behind you right now, Cancer? They could even be trying to send you synchronicities just to let you know that they're around you and they want to connect with you, and they want you to use this time where you feel like you can't go to other people as a time to connect more with them and yourself. Maybe you guys need to go out in nature, just go sit outside and cry. But I think you'll feel so relieved afterwards, because it's a great place to go and just be vulnerable. Let's see what else I can get for you guys, Cancer. Jeez. Surrender to the change, the art of allowing, resilience, adaptability. Um, it came out in reverse, which more than makes sense for this reading because there is a lack of surrendering, but that's because, Cancer, you feel like you're being like encased with fear, like just swallowed whole by fear right now. And it's so loud, it's like deafening. So it doesn't even sound as quiet around you right now because the quiet happens and then the fears just jump in to fill that silence in. And it's weird because it's the brain's way of trying to protect you. Like anxiety is trying to help you, but it's really not helping. And so that's why you have to work so hard to combat that when it comes up, because if you just leave it alone, like these thoughts will have their way with you. I'm just hearing your guys being like, let us catch you. This feels like a trust fall. They want you to just fall back and let them catch you. I saw the treasures in the deep and dark card on the bottom of the deck, which talks about shadow work. So with this devil here, this is absolutely tied to your shadow. Um, oh, look at that. The consequence of fear. Contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilled prophecy. The thing is, I don't even think that Okay. It's like if you tell yourself that you're not okay, then you won't be okay internally. And what happens when these thoughts overtake us like this, we make decisions and we take action based on this fear, or we, because I got this frozen for a time card, we're stagnant because of fear. So we're not even taking action because of fear. And that ends up being the consequence of fear. That's the self fulfilling prophecy. We're like, oh my God, my life is only ever going to be this way. And so because you're telling yourself that and you genuinely believe it, you start behaving in a way that makes that your reality. Like you end up creating that reality for yourself. And I feel like your guides are trying to step in because they're like, listen, that is not supposed to be your reality, okay? Even if it has been your reality before, why does it need to stay your reality? Especially because it's clear that you don't want it to be. I'm sure you don't want to feel like this anymore, Cancer, but the easiest way to continue being afraid is by being afraid. And I know that that sounds like an oversimplification. Trust me, guys, I struggle a lot with anxiety. So I could never sit here and overly simplify this for you and say, hey, you got anxiety, just stop being anxious. No, this takes work. It takes a lot of like pausing in your day to calm yourself down. And you got to develop like mantras, affirmations that you can use to mitigate these thoughts. But also, you have to let your life be an example. I mean, even through whatever this is that we've gone through in our childhood, because this, I don't even think I'm going to do an inner child reading for you guys because I don't feel like I have access. Like, I don't feel like I can. Um, I don't feel like this is something that you guys want to think about because I think feelings come along with that. But I feel like if you address this, if you were to really look back to the past, you would realize that you really have been okay this whole entire time. Like maybe you've had to go without, maybe you've been alone, maybe you've suffered grief and loss, and maybe a lot of it from an early age, but you are still standing and you are okay. You are adaptable and resilient. So I feel like you guys are blocking yourself off from your own power to survive. But even in this period where you don't feel like you have all the things, we're still trying to get you to shift from surviving to thriving. Even if you feel like you don't know what it feels like to thrive, now is the time to figure out what that would look like for yourself. Whatever it is that fear is telling you, it's not true. So if fear is telling you that something isn't going to go well for you, that's not true. If fear is telling you that you're not going to be successful, that's not true. If fear is telling you that you can't take care of yourself, that's not true because you've been doing it thus far and you've been taking care of a whole bunch of other people as well. And for some of you, actually, I think for all of you that have been taking care of people, you are helping propel these people forward in their lives. And so now you're having to surrender so we can take a pause and understand like you, I think, have been able to be adaptable for other people. So now it's time to figure out how to adapt so that you can better support yourself. What does Cancer need you to be right now, Cancer? What do you need from yourself right now? And if that's just to be nicer to yourself or a little bit more self-soothing, then that's what you need to do. So we had the masks we wear: self-expression, protection, and authentic self. This card talks about the way that we end up deceiving ourselves, so therefore we deceive other people. And I think in the past you've deceived other people because you were deceiving yourself into believing that you, sorry Cancer, we got cut off there. But you were deceiving yourself into believing that this is all you can and should be in life, is the supportive friend, the shoulder to cry on, the loving and supportive child. um like I'm just seeing people come to you for this cleansing energy. Like, you're like sage, you know? Like, you come and you're just like, okay. Maybe some of you guys literally are like on sage, you know? Like, you are literally the friend that's coming around with the cleansing tools and be like, okay, baby, let's get this energy off of you. Let's get the spirit of the devil off of you. But Cancer, I feel like this is not going to feel like a blessing right now, you know, you being so disconnected from people, but it really is going to end up being a blessing for you, because now is the time for you to adapt into being able to step up and play this role for yourself. So if somebody that you loved came to you with all this anxiety that you have right now, and they were crying and they were upset and they were worried and concerned, what would you tell them? How would you be there for them? How would you show up and support them? Well, now it's time for you to redirect that energy towards yourself. We got Serenity out of Exile. Exhale, surrender, radical acceptance. Yeah. You know, just more confirmation. I don't think that there's anything for you to try and do right now or focus on right now other than yourself and your peace of mind with this card. We have happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Mentorship, fulfillment, and peace of mind. So we mentioned before with that 9 of Cups in reverse that you were realizing like you've never truly been fulfilled, or you've never truly been at peace, or you've never truly felt accepted or protected, loved. But I think that has to do with abandoning yourself, you know, and like tripping over yourself to go and try and be everything for other people, and like now you're feeling neglected subconsciously because you're disconnected from yourself by trying to seek connection in other people. Some of you guys, your Cancer placements could be in your 7th house. Doesn't have to be. You could also have a Cancer 4th house. Yeah. Full moon eclipse, and it was in reverse. So removing internal obstacles, confronting self-identity, intensity. Full moons are also for releasing. They're for letting go, surrendering attachments, surrendering things that we don't feel like we need or any good for us. So we got a full moon coming up, and I think that would be a really good time for you guys to release the idea that you're not okay. Like, Cancer, I really don't think there's anybody that's going to have you better than you have you. And maybe for some of you guys that's triggering, because it's like, I've always had me better than I've had me. And I understand that. But I just don't feel like now is the time to stop having you, because you need you right now. There's a need to quiet out some of this noise. Or it's not even just quieting, it's really combating these thoughts. I wonder if something is going to happen for you guys this month that's just going to be your spirit team, like their way of nodding to you to be like, hey, Cancer, we're with you. So maybe this month some aspect of something that you're worried about gets taken care of. Because we had that synchronicities card before. We have this confronting self-identity card, or the full moon eclipse says confronting self-identity, which we talked a little bit about before when I said that your identity was tied up in bending over backwards for people. I feel like there's so much more to you with this mask we wear. Like, you were reducing yourself, and so other people were reducing you, and it became this self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, oh my God, I give so much of myself, I show up for these people, and then I don't get anything. But it's like, look at the kinds of people that you're showing up for, and ask yourself if there really was a chance that any of those people were ever gonna show up for you, because they probably don't even really show up for themselves, because they look to you to make up the difference. Do you see what I'm saying? So in a way, like, out of all, like, in this whole situation, the person who is the most okay here between you and these people is you, because these people required you in order to be okay. So we take you out of the equation, you will always still have you, Cancer, so therefore you will always be okay. So I feel like this is a time to reconnect with yourself so you can start remembering who you are. What do you like doing? What are your interests? What do you want? We're not even necessarily needing to jump to worry about how we're going to make it happen right now. Let's just focus on what do we want. And for some of you guys, if this is to be able to be back in relationship with people, but just in a healthier way, then we got to start figuring out like what that would look like for us and how we can bring ourselves closer to our goal. And one of the ways for you guys to bring yourselves closer to that role is to really start evaluating these people that you have cut off. I think there's also a need to look at something in your childhood that you've been avoiding looking at. Oh, this card is back. Treasures in the deep and dark, shadow work, healing old wounds. Yeah, like there is something that you guys are avoiding, but it feels like it's the key. Remember I was talking about that secret passageway and like knowing exactly which book? Like there's something about the book. I don't know which book it is, Cancer, but you know. And if you don't know, then I think that you would be able to find out, but you have to let... It's like, where are these fears? What are these fears attached to, and where did they come from? Sometimes you have to ask yourself, like, when you started feeling so anxious, or when you started feeling so afraid, when you started feeling so unprotected and just like vulnerable. Under that, we had enough for now and always. You are enough, worthiness, faith, and needs being met. What have we been talking about this whole reading, Cancer? Okay. What have we been talking about? Okay, then we have a way out of the weeds, a clear way out, multitasking, getting organized. Guys, I cannot stress enough that you are okay, Cancer. If I could come through the screen and give you a hug right now, I would just hold you, because you're okay. You are okay. Sometimes you gotta just hold yourself. You gotta give yourself a tight hug. Like, you are more than worthy of your own love. There is not a single person on this planet, on this earth, I don't care, there's nobody in existence, Cancer, that is more worthy of your love and your grace and your care and your comforting, nurturing energy than you are. There are no other people. And if there are some people who have made you feel like they were more deserving, that was a manipulation tactic. They didn't want you to feel worthy so that you would always keep yourself stuck in playing this role, so that they would never have to experience really the feeling that you're feeling right now, this coldness. They don't want to be in the cold. So they've put that off for as long as possible. And the only way to do that was to play with your head and put you in this state. So we got to get you out of this, Cancer. Okay, we're going to get you out of this. Alright, I'm going to pull one more card for you guys because I love you guys. Then we're going to be done, because the chaos is beginning. Holding space for love, non-judgment, discernment, self-acceptance. The non-judgment that you're needing to practice the most right now is with yourself, Cancer. You don't need to feel bad or less than because you're afraid. You just need to be able to say, you know what, I am really fucking terrified right now. And you just need to hold yourself through it. You don't need to feel bad about the fact that you've, reduced yourself in the past and kind of put yourself in a position for these people to just come in for the kill. That's only partially your fault, and I think you guys are also needing to learn how to take responsibility for your part, but then take the rest of that responsibility and put it where it belongs. Put it on whose plate it goes to. And don't be more concerned with not wanting to see people for who they are just because you don't want to look at them crazy, you don't want to look at them funny, or you don't want to feel your feelings, which are very valid. Sometimes we feel guilty for seeing people for who they are when they treat us crazy. We feel guilty for the fact that we feel unsupported because they're not supporting us. And that's fucked up. So I feel like you guys need to get angry. If you're not already, you need to get angry. And even if, like, oh, maybe you guys need to do some letters for this upcoming full moon. Like, even if you feel like you're not ready to talk to these people yet, like, there's something you got to get out of your system, Cancer. Self-acceptance. I really like that part. You know, holding space for love. This is holding space for the love of yourself, because Cancer, you got all this room to love all these other people. Right now, it's time for you to love on yourself more than you have loved on anybody else. Take all the love that you've given to every single one of those people, put it all together and give it to yourself. We need to turn this inward. This feels like when you have a plant and it's like starting to wither and you're like, oh my God, like now it's time to go get that plant food. It's time to put that plant in the sun, get it some water. This plant needs TLC, okay? You need the TLC. So whatever it is that you can do for yourself right now, if you guys are struggling financially, whatever it is that you can do right now to be able to give yourself some relief, that's what we need to be doing. And for some of you guys, this is just like going on walks, sitting outside, go to the park, go literally hug a tree, you know, go lay in the grass, let your feet, you know, touch the ground. Some beaches don't charge you. You could go to the beach. Honestly, I actually am really getting for you guys that being in some water would be nice. Like if you're somebody who showers all the time, you never take a bath, go take a bath. You know, just go sit in some water. Just let your body just steep in some water. And whatever comes up for you, just let it come up. Like that's also what you're holding space for. You're holding space for your own feelings, which is like the most loving act that you could possibly do. And you know how to do it because you do it for other people all the time. So now this is just time for when those feelings come up for you to just rant it out, cry it out, talk it out. Whatever it is that you have to do to get this out of your body, that's what we need to be focusing on for this month. So Cancer, I really hope that this helped. I'm sending you guys so much peace and love. Yeah, if you guys like this, please like, subscribe, turn on my post notifications so that you know next time I post for you guys. Okay, bye Cancer.